Hola, buenos dias. If you are currently trying to get lean or you've ever wanted to lose some body fat and you've struggled, and I'm sure you've heard the saying, you've come across it, that calories in versus calories out is all it's about. It's the only thing that affects fat loss. I'm sure you've heard it. I'm sure the fitness influencers have told you till the cows come home that that is all you need to worry about. I'm going to break down in this video why that is not the case, and they are missing a big chunk of the puzzle out. Now, let's start off by first of all clarifying what we mean, because this is going to be broken down into direct and indirect factors when it comes to fat loss. What are the direct factors that are affecting fat loss? The only direct factor that affects fat loss is, in fact, calories in versus calories out. We cannot overcome the laws of thermodynamics. If you are expending more energy than you are consuming via calories in your food, then you will lose weight. You will reduce your body fat percentage, because you'll be burning that stored up energy, and that is over the long term. So if we know that's the only direct factor, what's this video actually about? Because I've just made a statement that apparently it's not all about calories in, calories out, but now I've just said it is. Well, it's because there's indirect factors, and I'm going to argue that these are actually more important when it comes to putting this into practice. So the indirect factors are going to be things that affect you getting into and staying in a calorie deficit, because when it comes to fat loss, that's what's going to get you the result. It's not going to be just getting there for a day. You need to be there and you need to maintain it. So let's jump into the indirect factor of nutrition quality. It's easy to give the example of, okay, right, there's a guy who eats McDonald's and he eats in a calorie deficit. Is he going to lose weight? Yes, he is. But my question to that is, how long is he going to maintain that? How long is he going to stay in that calorie deficit? Because if he can, fair play, but I don't think he will. And I don't think a lot of you would either if you're in that situation. And I'm going to break down exactly why. And it all starts with the physiological processes. This is number one, by the way, just in case you hadn't heard. I'm sure I've put a slide up or something like that, just so you know. Number one is that physiological processes that take place when you consume ultra-processed food, or UPFs. Now, before I get into these, just a quick disclaimer that UPFs aren't bad. I'm not going to demonize food. You can have these foods in moderation. There's nothing inherently wrong with them. It's all going to be dose dependent. In the same way that if you drink water, that's good for you. But if you drink too much, you're going to die. So we can't just give these blanket statements of foods are good and bad. But for this example, I'm going to go over a typical person whose diet is primarily made up of ultra-processed foods. And an ultra-processed food, by the way, for those who don't know, is going to be something that has, let's say, more than 5 ingredients per food product. You can spot them a mile away, because usually when you look at the ingredients list on the back of a food product, you're going to see some things on there that you'd think would probably belong in a science lab. That's your big giveaway. Anyway, sorry about the tangent. Okay, so number one, physiological processes and signaling that's happening inside your body when you consume ultra-processed food. What do you get when you eat ultra-processed food? Or what do you not get? You usually don't get much fiber, you usually don't get much protein, and you usually get a very calorie-dense food product, which means that when you consume it, actually, the amount of energy that you're consuming is quite large for the volume of food that you're consuming. So when we're eating food, we actually have receptors within our stomach that are going to sense when it's stretching, when we're filling it, and that's actually going to be one of the drivers of this hormone signaling of things like GLP-1 that are going to tell you that you feel satiated, that you feel full, you feel satisfied with the meal. It's essentially like your hunger turn-off switch. So if you're consuming not much volume of food, then what do you think happens in terms of the signaling that you're experiencing there? Probably not much. It's probably going to be understimulated. Which leads me on to number two, which is the likelihood of overconsumption. When we're consuming these ultra-processed foods, not only are we already in a state of hunger, we've just said that we're eating foods and we're actually feeling less satisfied. So we feel more hungry, we're more inclined to eat. But now, let's throw into this the fact that these foods have been manufactured to be as tasty as humanly possible. There is somebody who is sat at the end of that product who wants that to be the tastiest thing you've ever had, because then you are going to go back and buy it time and time and time again. If they can get you hooked on it because it's so good, then they're going to make more money from you. So when we have these extremely palatable, highly calorie-dense food products that don't fill us up very much, that is usually a recipe for disaster, because not only are you now battling hunger, but you're also battling cravings because you want the food, because it tastes so good. So the chances of you overeating have just gone from here to here, literally in the space of the food quality that you're consuming. Number 3 is going to be gut health, and I know everybody and their gran is talking about gut health these days, so I'm going to keep this one very short. But when you're consuming ultra processed foods, I think this is very important. You have to take into consideration, we've already mentioned that you're not getting much fiber, and in terms of actually consuming those foods, the likelihood is that you're reducing your microbial diversity, and these are going to be things that actually help with regulating stuff like inflammation, like appetite, even potentially circadian rhythm. And most importantly, it's going to help with regulating your mood. So if you have a poor state of gut health, then are you going to be in the best physiological and psychological state to tackle something like a calorie deficit where you're already in a calorie deficit? You are already in a deficit of energy. Probably not. You're probably going to cave at some point, and it's probably going to be too hard. Number 4 is that you are going to be consuming less micronutrients per calorie. When we're looking at micronutrients, your vitamins and minerals, these have very important roles when it comes to things like energy metabolism. If you're consuming lots of ultra processed food, then chances are you're not getting in many micronutrients. They just don't tend to be very nutrient dense foods. And that's why you can see time and time again, people who have a diet that is mainly made up of ultra processed foods, they tend to be deficient in some sort of vitamins or minerals. And this can have knock-on effects. So chances are, if you are deficient in certain vitamins and minerals, then you're probably going to be experiencing fatigue, maybe chronic fatigue. You're probably going to be experiencing worse mood swings or energy dips. These are all going to be things that, again, will affect your likelihood of maintaining and staying in a calorie deficit. So number 5 is basically how all of these come together, which is they make you feel worse. And if you feel worse overall and you are in a state where you don't feel like you can go out and you can burn as much energy, because if you, let's be honest, we've all been there, if you feel mentally drained, if you feel physically drained, are you going to be expending as much energy as you possibly could? So not only is it going to make it harder to actually get into your calorie deficit, I would say the chances of you sticking it out and actually making it through it have dramatically dropped just based on your nutritional quality. And I think it's a prime example of why this whole idea that it's just calories in versus calories out has taken the core of it, which absolutely is true. Like I've said, it's the only direct factor. But if we just keep telling people that, then they're going to keep trying it and failing it. And chances are, if you're resonating with this, if you tried that before, then you've probably experienced it and you've gone, oh my God, yeah, I was eating rubbish. My diet was bad. If you switch to better food, better quality food, or even I was like the 80-20 principle. 80% of the time, try and stick to whole, minimally processed food, and then 20% of your diet can be made up of these ultra processed foods for convenience, but enjoyment as well. We're not robots, we're allowed to enjoy these things. That's why it's about moderation. It's dose dependent. It's not that the quality of your food or eating quote unquote healthy is going to help you lose weight, because we know that the calorie deficit is the thing that will force you to lose weight. It's the only thing that will get you there. But if you cannot stick at that calorie deficit, or if you feel like total rubbish whilst you're in it, then the chances of you sticking to it have dramatically dropped. You're not going to be able to stick it out, and you're not going to lose weight, and it's going to fail for you. So we need to be taking these indirect factors more seriously, and we probably need to start with them as step 1 rather than just an afterthought after we've tried tracking our calories and trying this calories in, calories out. So there we go. That's everything for this video. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you are new here and you enjoy this kind of content, then I'd appreciate a subscribe as well. Still a very new channel, so that would be great. And if you like the video, again, a like would be much appreciated as well. So I hope you all have a lovely day, and I will catch you in the next one, I guess. So I'll see you then.